Me and Heidi met in summer school. We didn't plan it, but we met by me skipping seats each day, thinking that she wouldn't notice that I'll be a slick, but she noticed, and the whole class noticed, and they're like, "Oh, do you like Heidi?" I'm like, "No, I don't like Heidi." And like eventually I sat next to her and we started talking. And the thing I remember the most is that she gave me a picture with a little dinosaur, like a cartoon character, and she put the date, so that's when I knew I met her, and so I kept it, and now we know when the date we met, and that's July 14th, 2010. Yes. I think it's when we were able to talk to each other about our feelings and about our problems in our lives, problems at home, and just like help each other out.
Yeah, well, I felt like he was my best friend, so anything I needed advice for or just wanted to tell him how my day was, I would just go up with him and tell him, and I trusted him, so he took the time to listen, and I tried to do the same for him. I
was a very selfish person, and this time I gave attention to her and never thought about myself and tried to just become better as a person. She was like a wall to a lot of people. So when I was able to like break down that wall, it was like, hey, she's falling in love with me. And it was a good feeling because like I would give her flowers, I'd give her chocolates, I'd give her letters, I'd give her poems, I'd give her a lot of stuff. Yeah. And she never really broke down that wall. She was still kind of like, I'm just testing the waters. And like until she really like told me how she felt and said she really appreciated all the things I did for her, then that's how I like really knew that she liked me like a lot. After high school, we both felt that we were being selfish. We were just thinking about ourselves, and so we were fighting a lot, and so we broke it off. And we wanted to find God more because we felt like we were so distant from God. So sometimes I would go into like these very like depressed moods, and so certain times I would just be down in a hole and I feel like God wasn't with me.
And during that time we kind of had different perspectives, so we started doing Bible studies together, and in the mornings before school started he would go on the computer and find articles or different research and send it to me, so we would actually have that to talk about, and then we would send scriptures to each other and just like talk about who we thought God was. And that's what really helped us a lot too, was to learn about God together. So whenever I feel like he's going through a hard time, it hurts me to see him go through that. And so the first thing I do is I pray for him, and then I try to send him Bible verses and just a lot of encouragement to let him know that God's with him and that I'm here for him too if he needs me. And I like doing that. I like being there for him, but also like making sure that God is the center of it, because he's the one where we get the strength from. And it's praying together, praying for each other, and reminding each other to pray. It's always just to remind each other that God is there for us and that he has great plans for us. It's just really nice to have somebody to pray with and know that it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your best friend, and you just feel that it's a lot more special to have somebody to pray with you.
So if she has a real big problem that I can't even deal with, I tell her to give it to God. Pray to God and don't worry about it. Just have faith.
It's also to ensure each other that although like God is a big God, he's very personal to each one, like one of us. And so it's not just praying together, but it's also about your personal relationship with God, because that yeah, like if I'm really feeling down and if something happens to me, he's there to help me, like to push me back up. But I always remember somebody saying that it's like a triangle, so it's like you're here and then your significant other's here, and if you guys go both up to God, you meet in the middle. And that's something that's always been in my mind, that if I'm trying to push him towards God and he pushes me, like eventually we meet at the same place, and it's really good.
When I grow, like I want her to grow with me, so we're equally yoked, and so that we're able to fit each other's like ideas and mindsets and like emotions and feelings.
And I mean, everybody's very different, so you see things differently, and so like for us to share to each other what we see, it really gives a new aspect on everything, but then we do come to like a certain point where we're at the same level, and that's pretty cool to see it. It feels like it all went by really fast.
Yeah, but the reason why is because, one, we had God first. Two, we one, we had God first. Two, we weren't selfish. And three, we always try to just think of each other.
Yes, yeah. So it's being selfless and not selfish, and that's a characteristic of God. And I think that helps us a lot too, is to think of how God is and His love. So we try to put that love in our relationship.
When we're fighting with each other, like, it's hard to like humble ourselves, because I'm like, I'm right, and then she's like, she's right.
Yeah. For me personally, I think about God's love and how He's forgiving, and instead of to snap at somebody, you have to listen, and that's what we've learned to do.
And so when other couples are just focusing on themselves and saying, oh, this person's not satisfying me, this person's not giving me what I want, that's not what love is. It's not letting a person give you what you want. It's out loving the other person. And a lot of times we see on like media and like TV, like, oh, if that person doesn't give you what you want, you divorce them, or you leave them alone, or they're not good for you. But like, I think that's very immature, and I think that's not even a right way to even handle like a fight. It takes two people to be in a relationship. It doesn't take one, it takes two. The problem is that they always focus on hooking up, and we're focusing on courtship, like practicing marriage. Like, even if we don't get married, we're still practicing for a person to come up if they come along.
It's not like a game. It's not like we're just hanging out together and be like, well, you know, I'll see you later or something. It's more like we get to see our relationship in a different perspective, and we see what we need to fix. So we're honest with each other, and that helps us work on ourselves, which makes our relationship even better too.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, like, even when you're single, they like to mingle around and cheat, and like once they get like married, or maybe they get a girl pregnant, or like not planning it, they have those bad habits and they bring it into the marriage, or they bring it into a baby's life to like go and have other people, because they're not used to having that one person.
Or like the aspects of something was like working together, you know, like having our trust, being loyal to each other, is like being faithful, just to like appreciate quality time and just learn to accept each other as, it's like best friends, but better than that. And so I think that's the aspects of marriage too, is like just having those little things really teach us a lot, and so it helps us a lot in the future. And I think just seeing that in each other is really helpful.